To me, the Muslims in America are some of the most educated Muslims around the world. If I ask just this audience, how many of you have either been to college or the universities or have graduated from colleges or universities or are attending right now? Raise your hand. Raise them up high. Look around. Look around, brothers and sisters. The Muslim Ummah doesn't lack education. If you would compare this Ummah now to 1400 years ago, we couldn't compare, could we? They don't know the sciences that you study. Many of them couldn't read or write. The Prophet ﷺ said that this is an unlettered ummah. They couldn't even calculate the days of even Ramadan. You were able mathematically to predict 10,000 years from now when a new moon would come, because you are that educated. But even though we have more education than them, we certainly don't have more good knowledge than them. We have their education here, but we don't have their knowledge there. The thing that I would like to leave this community in this city with, two things. Number one, knowledge, but not just any kind of knowledge. I believe that our parents have made great sacrifices in this city to put your children in higher education. But I think we have to look again and ask ourselves, did we put them in the right education? Last week when I was here, I told you that in New York City, I read an article in the New York Post entitled "The Rise of Islam in New York City." An article said that there are 100,000 Muslim students in New York City going to public school. And while we have 17 full-time Muslim schools, but those 17 full-time Muslim schools only serviced some 5% of the Muslim youth in New York City. That has to change. Question to you and me today: مَعَدَّتَ لَهَا, what have you prepared for our future? I remember reading that the Prophet ﷺ said once there was a wolf who went and took a sheep and started running. And when the wolf took the sheep and started running, then the shepherd started running after the wolf. And when the shepherd was running after the wolf, this hadith, this Bukhari hadith, volume number 4, under Anbiya, the section, the prophets, in the end of that is this hadith. And so the shepherd was running after the wolf with the sheep in his mouth. And then the wolf turned around and sat up and said, "What will you do in the day of wild beast, when there will be no shepherd other than me?" The day of wild beast, when there will be no shepherd other than me. If we lose these, our youth, don't blame the wolf for eating the sheep. Blame the shepherd for not guarding the sheep. Question: how many of you know Muslims who used to practice, used to make prayer, used to dress as a Muslim woman, used to come to the masjid, and no longer? Raise your hand. Raise your hand high. Come on, be honest. Raise them up. Look around. Look around. I want you to look around. How many know more than one who used to? How many know more than two that used to? Look around. How many know more than three that used to? How many know more than four that used to? Hands are still up. How many know more than five that used to? How many know more than six that used to? How many know more than seven that used to? How many know more than eight that used to? How many know more than nine that used to? When will it end? How many know more than 10 that used to? How many know more than 11 that used to? Hands are still up. How many know more than 12 that used to? I better put your hands down. Is that enough for you? Is that enough? Or do we need more? Is it enough for a brother to come to me and say, Brother Imam Siraj, I just found out that a woman I was just married to has the AIDS virus? Muslim? Is it enough to know that a sister comes and say, Imam, I've been married to a brother over 20 years and he has no other wife than me and I have not been unfaithful to him, but yet I have such and such disease? Is it enough for that? The bottom line is, what will we do about it? I've said over the years that brothers and sisters, you parents, you have to know your children, because all of our children are not alike. They're all different. I have some children that I believe that I can put them anywhere and they'll thrive. But then I have some other children. I don't think I could do that. I remember years ago, my young son, Siraj, he was young then. I can talk about him. He was years ago. It was during the month of Ramadan. And you know what I do? When I would be in the masjid during the day, I would call home to see how the kids are doing, how the fast is doing. And I remember one day, like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I called home. And I spoke to my daughter, Hujra answered the phone. I said, how's everything? Everything is fine. I said, put your brother on the phone. So Siraj comes on the phone, and the first thing he says, I wasn't going to eat it. Siraj, you weren't going to eat what? That toast that I just made. By the way, Siraj is fasting. I wasn't going to eat it. I'm saving it for iftar. So you see, as you begin to develop your children, you have to know your children, because all of them are different. And you have to be careful. Some of your children you can put in a public school and they'll do fine. Some of them. But many of them, if you put them in a public school, you're going to lose them. Hear what I just said? You have to be honest with yourself to realize that many of them, if you put in a public school, you're going to lose them. Why do you think people still raising their hand? I know 10 people, 12 people, 11 Muslims, 13 Muslims, 15 Muslims who used to practice, don't practice anymore. What happened to you? I think what happened to them is somebody fell asleep, the guardian fell asleep, and the wolf came and took them away. And I'm telling you, America are full of wolves. All over America, there are wolves waiting for our little sheep. And let me tell you the prize. You want me to tell you the prize? Do you want me to tell you the prize? The prize are these Muslim women, pure, raised up, pure. Our prize. She goes to school. She goes to college. Salaikum salam, sister. And then what? We lose this precious, our future, and the mother of our future. We lose them because we didn't have the foresight of how to protect them. I don't say don't send them to college. I don't say don't send them. But if you're going to send them, you better protect them. If you can't protect them, you better not send them. You didn't hear what I just said? I'm not saying don't send them to college, but if you're going to send them, you better protect them. And if you can't protect them, you better not send them.